Okay, here are our notes for division. You might want to pause the video at some point so you can record them. But basically what we talked about was how the number on the inside of the house is the dividend, which is where your total goes. The number on the outside is your divisor. This is the number that you're dividing by. And that is where you are dividing the number of groups. Okay, so if you're given a total of 245 pieces of candy and you want to put it into 5 groups, this is what it would look like. Okay, and the number on top, the 49, that is your quotient, which means answer to a division problem. And that is the number of items in each group. So when we're talking about division, we're talking about taking a total and breaking it into groups. Okay, and we talked about how division and multiplication are the same thing. Okay, when you have an array like this one, 7 by 3, which is 21. So that means you have 7 columns, and then you have 3 horizontal rows of one object or another. That gives you 21. Well, then when you take and you draw that little house above it, you have a division problem. 21. Whoops. Clear. Sorry. 21 divided by 3 equals 7. Okay? And then we talked about how to check a division problem. And you check it by doing multiplication. So the problem we did on the top was 245 divided by 5. And that gave us the answer of 49. So you would take your answer, which is the quotient, and multiply it by the divisor, which is the number you divided by. And then the answer that you get for your multiplication problem, your product, should be the same as what your dividend was. Okay? Go ahead and make sure that you pause this, or at least watch it to copy your notes. Okay? This will be still page 5 in your journal. So the date was 9/2. Title is Division, page number 5. Okay, so then we talked about division and the steps. I know you've heard DMSB before. That's divide, and then multiply, subtract, bring down. Well, here are a few examples that we did in class, but I'm going to go to the next screen and work one with you, okay? But you're welcome to look at these as an example. All right, so what if I have 315 divided by 7? One thing we talked about was making tic-tac-toe boards like we did with multiplication. So we would start by making a tic-tac-toe model of 7, because that's what we're dividing by. So then we would need 7 little marks. And remember, we just count the marks to make each multiple. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. So there are the multiples of 7. So those are the numbers I'm going to use to answer my problem. Okay? So we're going to start by underlining the 3. And what we're looking at is, can 7 times a number equal 3? So if you look up here in your tic-tac-toe chart, do you see a 3 by itself? So then we extend the 3 to be 31. Okay, so then look back up in your tic-tac-toe chart. Do you see a number that's closest to 31 that doesn't go over? Should be the 28. And if you're counting, 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, which means 7 times 4 is 28. Okay? So I'm going to take this 4 right here, and I'm going to put it above the 1 in my problem. 7 times 4, we said was 28. So I'm going to put 28 here, and I'm going to subtract. The 3 becomes a 2, 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0, so I can just leave that alone. I don't have to put a 0, but you can if you want. And then I'm going to bring down the 5. So now my problem is 7 times what equals 35. So you go to your tic-tac-toe board and you see, is there a 35? And there is, which would be 7 times 5. So I'm going to put the 5 above the 5 on the top. 7 times 5 is 35. And we subtract. So my answer is 45. And to check it, again, you would multiply 45 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 3 is 31. Okay, now let's look at the area model. The area model is kind of similar to what we did in multiplication, and it's really the same as the division, except we're looking at boxes. So let's do 415 divided by, let's do 5, because we don't need a tic-tac-toe board for that one. So that's why we can just look at it quickly. So I'm going to make one big box, and I'm going to break it into 3 spaces because 415 has 3 numbers. So 1, 2, 3. All right, and I'm going to put each number right next to the line, and there's a reason for that, and I'm fixing to explain it to you. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to look at one box at a time. So I'm going to start with 5 right here. Can 5 times the number equal 4? Well, when we think about our tic-tac-toe boards, or when you think about your multiples of 5, the first thing you have is 5 times 1, which is 5, and that means 4 is too big, too small. Okay, so because 5 doesn't go into 4, we're going to mark out that 4, and we're going to push it to the next box. Now, remember when I said we're going to put this 1 close to the line? That's because when I push this 4 over, it goes in front of that 1. So now we're done with this box, and we're looking at 5 times what equals 41. So we're looking at the middle box. Well, when you think about your multiples of 5 on your tic-tac-toe board, 5 will go into 41 8 times, because 8 times 5 is 40. And then you subtract, and it gives you 1 left over. Okay, this leftover number right here, we're going to take it and we're going to push it to the next box, and it's going to go in front of that 5, giving us 15. Now we're looking at this last box, and we're done with this middle box. 5 times what equals 15? 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minus 15 is 0. Now, you don't have to cross out the boxes. I'm just doing that to show you what it would look like. But you're more than welcome to cross it out if that helps you. So that means 415 divided by 5 is 83. And we can check that by multiplication. 5 times 3 is 15. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 is 41. That's 415. Okay, so for time's sake, I went ahead and did the next problem out for you. It's 831 divided by 9. I went ahead and made the tic-tac-toe board and used my dots to count. Okay, and then I made my box. I made my box a little bit bigger this time because I'm going to show you how you can also multiply inside of it instead of underneath it, and it's completely up to you. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying, can 9 go into 8? So look at your tic-tac-toe board, and you notice there is not an 8 on here by itself, which means 9 is too big. Okay, it's bigger than 8. So I'm going to cross out the 8, and I'm going to push it to the next box. So the 8 is going to go in front of the 3. Then we're going to go to our tic-tac-toe board, and we're going to look for a number smaller than 83, which would be 81. That's as close as you can get to 83 without going over. This would be 9 times 9. So I'm going to put the 9 on the top. We said 9 times 9 is 81. And then we subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 minus 8 is 0. Okay? So that's it for that box. Now I'm going to push it over to the next box. The 2 goes in front of the 1. We're going to go up and we're going to look into our tic-tac-toe board for a number closest to 21 without going over. In this case, it's 18 because 27 is too big. So we're going to use 18, which is 9 times 2. Subtract, you get 3. So that's 92, but then we've got 3 left over. We don't have another box to push that 3 into, so that becomes our remainder. So it would be 92 with a remainder of 3. Okay? So I want you to make up a few practice problems. I'm going to post them on Google Classroom. It is not a grade. It is strictly practice, but I do want you to turn it in so I can see that you're doing the work and trying to understand it at least. Remember, we have Google Meet on Thursday at 9 o'clock if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll see you again on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I will put notes again on double-digit division because this was the basics. We're going to step it up tomorrow. Okay? So be watching for that next video.